cat knows where Mama is buried. He visits her every night. Marcus stared at the little girl, his blood running cold. Single millionaire dad finds a little girl and her cat sleeping on trash. The truth broke his heart. Before we dive in, hit that like button, share the story, and subscribe for more incredible true stories. And I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments below. I love seeing our global community. Now back to the story. Rain hammered the streets of Seattle that October night. Marcus Bennett sat in the back of his Tesla, staring at his phone and other texts from his ex-wife's lawyer about custody arrangements for his daughter, Sophie, who he barely saw anymore. He'd sold his tech startup for $18 million at 35 and bought a penthouse overlooking the water. But Sophie lived 3 states away, and every video call felt like talking to a stranger. Mer Bennett, his driver said, slowing near Pike Place Market. "There's something. You should see this." Marcus looked up. Then he saw her, behind a row of dumpsters, beneath a torn plastic tarp. A little girl, maybe 8 years old, was curled up on flattened cardboard boxes. Her wet hair stuck to her face. And pressed against her chest, shivering violently, was a scraggly orange tabby cat with one torn ear. Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. "Stop the car." He stepped out into the rain. The girl's eyes snapped open wide, terrified. "Don't come closer," she screamed, clutching the cat tighter. "We didn't steal anything." Marcus raised his hands slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you. You're going to freeze out here." The girl's lip trembled. The cat meowed weakly, its ribs showing through matted fur. "What's your name?" Marcus asked gently. "Ruby," she whispered. "And this is Ginger. Ruby, when's the last time you ate?" She looked away. "Yesterday." A lady gave us half a sandwich. Marcus's throat tightened. "Come with me. I'll get you food. Both of you." Ruby shook her head violently. "I can't leave. My cat knows where Mama is buried. He visits her every night." The words hit Marcus like a fist to the stomach. "What do you mean?" Ruby pointed down the alley toward an empty lot. "She's over there, under the big tree with the broken branch. Ginger goes there every night at midnight. He sits with her so she's not lonely." Marcus crouched down, rain soaking through his jacket. "Ruby, who buried your Mama?" "I did," she said simply. "She got sick. She stopped waking up. I tried to call 911, but our phone was cut off. So I did my best." Marcus's vision blurred. This child had buried her own mother and had been surviving on the streets ever since. How long ago? 3 weeks. Maybe 4. Marcus made a decision right there in the rain. "Ruby, you and Ginger are coming home with me tonight. And tomorrow we're going to make sure your Mama gets the resting place she deserves. I promise." Ruby studied him with ancient eyes. Then, slowly, she nodded. At Marcus's penthouse, he wrapped Ruby in blankets and made her tomato soup. Ginger lapped up warm milk from a bowl, purring for the first time. Ruby ate slowly, like she'd forgotten how food tasted. "This place is really big," she said, looking around. "Do you live here alone?" "Yeah," Marcus said quietly. "My daughter lives far away. I don't see her much." Ruby tilted her head. "That's sad. If I had a dad, I'd want to see him every day." The words stabbed deeper than she could know. Later that night, Marcus found Ruby on the balcony, staring at the city lights. Ginger sat beside her. "I used to live in a place like this," Ruby said softly before. Marcus frowned. "What do you mean?" "When I was little, we had a big house with a garden. Mama would make pancakes every Sunday." She paused. "Then Daddy's company closed. He started drinking. He hit Mama. She took me and we ran." Marcus's hands clenched. "We moved 17 times," Ruby continued. "Every time Daddy found us, we ran again. Then Mama got sick, and we ended up here." She looked up at Marcus, tears streaming down her face. "I just wanted her to stop running." The next morning, Marcus called a private investigator. He needed to know Ruby's full story. The call came back 3 hours later. Marcus sat frozen as his investigator spoke. Ruby's mother was Eleanor Cortez. She filed 6 restraining orders against her ex-husband over for years. All dismissed. The ex-husband's name is Victor Cortez. He was the CFO of Technova Solutions until it collapsed in bankruptcy 2 years ago. Marcus's world tilted. "Who was the CEO?" Silence. "Marcus, you fired Victor Cortez when you discovered he'd been embezzling funds. That's what caused the company collapse. Victor went after his wife when he lost everything. Marcus couldn't breathe. He had fired Ruby's father. His business decision had sent Victor into a spiral that turned him violent, which made Eleanor run, which led to poverty, which led to her death, which led to a little girl burying her own mother and sleeping on trash. His success had destroyed this child's entire world." That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He walked to Ruby's room and found her awake, Ginger purring on her chest. "Can't sleep either?" she asked. Marcus sat on the edge of the bed. "Ruby, I need to tell you something. Your father, I knew him. I was the one who fired him from his job." Ruby stared at him, processing. Then, quietly, "Is that why Mama had to run? Because he lost his job?" Marcus's voice cracked. "I think so. And I'm so sorry." Ruby was quiet for a long time. Then she reached out and took his hand. "You didn't make him hurt us," she said simply. "He chose to be mean. You chose to be kind. That's the difference." The next morning, Marcus made the hardest call of his life. "Hello? Sophie, it's Dad." His daughter's voice was cautious. "Dad? Is everything okay?" "No. But it's going to be. Sophie, I've been a terrible father. I chose money and work over you. But I'm done with that. I'm moving to Denver. I want to be near you. I want to be your dad again." Silence, then, quietly, "Really? Really? And Sophie, there's someone I want you to meet. Her name is Ruby." 2 weeks later, Marcus stood in a small cemetery on the outskirts of Seattle. Eleanor Cortez finally had a proper burial, a beautiful headstone that read, "Beloved Mother. You ran so she could fly." Ruby stood beside him, holding Ginger, tears streaming down her face. "Can we come visit?" she whispered. "Anytime you want," Marcus said. "And Ginger, too." That night, Ruby asked Marcus the question he'd been dreading. "Can I stay with you forever?" Marcus knelt down, tears in his eyes. "Ruby, I was going to ask you the same thing. You and Ginger are your family now. If you'll have me." She threw her arms around his neck. Ginger purred loudly, rubbing against both of them. And for the first time since he'd lost his way, Marcus Bennett felt like he'd finally found his way home. 3 years later, Marcus Bennett became known not for his millions, but for the Marcus and Ruby Foundation, a nonprofit that helped domestic violence survivors find safe housing and rebuild their lives. Every shelter had a strict policy. Pets were always welcome when reporters asked what inspired him. Marcus always gave the same answer. "I found a little girl and her cat sleeping on trash, and she taught me that success isn't about what you build, it's about who you save. She didn't need my money, she needed someone to see her. And in seeing her, she saved me too, because sometimes the person who needs rescuing the most is the one who thinks." They have everything. The story touched millions of hearts around the world. If it touched yours, show some love with a like, drop your favorite pet in the comments. And subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us what really matters.